everyone, you're listening to the Tea with Tanya podcast, and I'm your host, Tanya Ambrose. I'm a public health professional by day and your average tea-loving millennial and content creator by night. My goal for this podcast is to share public health stories, self-love and wellness tips to educate and empower and to promote positive living. This podcast is here to serve you. Join me in the tea tasting room to see what I have brewing for you. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Tea with Tanya podcast, and I'm your host, Tanya. Now guys, I'm going to have to jump right into it. I can't even prolong the little intro. I have to really and truly jump right into it because it's been a minute since I've recorded a podcast episode. It's been a minute since you guys have heard my voice, and I've seen the Instagram DMs, I've seen the WhatsApp messages, the text asking, when are you bringing back the podcast? Or some people say, get away there so long. All these different things. And I did take an unexpected hiatus, but I do want to take a moment really quickly to thank my faithful supporters and my loyal listeners for, still listening to the episodes and for also inquiring to figure out what's up with your girl and this podcast. And for those of you who are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time listening to the Tea with Tanya podcast, of course, be sure to click that follow button or that like button. And of course, if you like what you hear, definitely rate and leave a review. But let's get into this episode. As you can see, I'm struggling to talk here. I don't even know why. I'm not going to cut this part out because this is just me being super amped and pumped and excited for me to record this episode because I cannot believe that it's been so long since I last recorded an episode. So let's get into it. Where have I been? Guys, let me tell you. Like I said, I took an unexpected hiatus back in February. Well, that was when the last episode was recorded or was uploaded rather. Wasn't necessarily when it was recorded, but I'll give you guys a little bit of a life update because I've been thinking during this hiatus or this temporary break, throughout that time when I've had time to somewhat think about where I want this podcast to go in the direction because, I'm trying to make an impact in this world. That's exactly what I think my purpose in life is. So definitely have some time to think about the direction of this podcast. And, I will share that with you guys soon. But where I've been, between December and now, let's say since November. Since November, no, I got let go from my job back in November. First of all, who let people go like 2 weeks before a major holiday? What if I had kids and wanted to buy a gift? But that's another story for another episode. But I got let go from my job. So I was unemployed for about roughly 3 months or so. Thank God for that. But during that time, your girl got COVID. And even me saying that, I'm going to be honest, even me saying this out loud, your girl got COVID. It's kind of strange because, and when I say strange, even as a public health professional, I still felt some sort of shame because I got COVID. I'm not going to even lie to you. This is me being honest and transparent. And if I can't be honest and transparent here, then where else? I got COVID. Even though I got let go from my job, I had a little part-time job working with some kids because, your girl's out there, she got a million and one jobs trying to give back to her community. And I got exposed and contracted COVID back in December. And guys, a funny story, I remember the first time, because I'm thinking to myself, I had a shin splint, went to the doctor to get me some lidocaine cream, and it was raining that way. So me being the Antigua, full-blown Caribbean, it's raining, it's cold, you're outside without any hoodie or umbrella. Okay, I have the sniffles, it's a light cold, drink your tea, rub down with your Vicks and these different things, you'll be good the next day. Guys, that was not the case with me. I was feeling sick, and I had not been sick in 2.5 years. I don't really get cold or flu or anything like that. So I'm thinking, okay, it might be COVID, but let's just see, because, it was really raining and it was really cold that day. And then I got a call from the person that I was working with that said that, the person that I was actually working with, she got COVID. So obviously that makes sense. By the time I did the test, I tested negative first. And then, of course, the following few days after, I tested positive. So your girl was down for the count during that time. But you know what? I would not wish COVID on my worst enemy if I had one, even though I had somewhat mild symptoms and I was still able to function. I did get some rest. I was able to sleep. It's still not something that you'd want. When you're down and out, it's just, I don't like it. But anyway, that's what happened as far as the life update. Like I said, I was unemployed up until, I started my new job now at the end of February. But guys, yes, so that's where I've been, got COVID, been unemployed, doing some soul searching, researching, deciding what my next step in life is going to be, getting to know myself even better as well. So within that time, got let go, got COVID, and then I was able to start a new job. So, guys, I'm recording this episode from a whole new city or a whole new state. Most of you guys know I was living in Georgia, but now I'm living in a whole different state right now, and that's because I moved for my job. Okay, like I said, I was unemployed. The unemployed life was not it for me because, girl, I like nice things, but I also like to be able to, I can pay my bills on time and do these different things. So definitely decided after I kept applying for jobs in Georgia after I got let go from my job, nobody was biting, as I like to say. Nobody was like, I wasn't getting any interviews or anything. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's just time for a change. Because I'm not, even though sometimes those who know me, I always say I struggle with change. I don't adapt well to change sometimes. And I think that's kind of a lie. I just said that to just mask something. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I'm also one who will up and move and not give a damn. Like, I'm going to do what's best for me in my life. I'm going to make sure because I'm very ambitious. So I'm going to do things that I think would better my life. And I decided, let me try to find some jobs in some other states. I was searching nearby states, other states that were far away. I'm like, how am I going to get my car across the country? All these other things that I was thinking about. But I decided to apply to a job that, again, I was being intentional. So, listen to this message, guys. Even though, you may have gotten fired or let go from your job and you're trying to think, oh my God, the world is against me, or what am I going to do? It's very, very easy to get sad and depressed and just be so stressed out because, again, as adults or as people in general, we have responsibilities. And when you got to think about when am I going to get the next dollar from, it can be stressful. And I decided, I didn't want to be that girl, even though I know my family had me and they had my back. I didn't want to be that girl. So I decided, I said, let me try other states, one. Let me be intentional with the type of job that I want. Because, like I said, I don't know if I said it, but I do work in the maternal, child, and reproductive health sector. And, the job I had before wasn't necessarily in that field. It was in public health, yes, but it wasn't doing that. And I was very intentional, or I wanted to be very intentional as it related to me getting a job that I know I would love and I could make an impact, or the impact that I wanted to make, to be honest with you. And, I prayed about it. I wrote in my journal because, guys, I'm the journal. I'm not going to say I'm the journaling queen, but I love to journal, and I've been very consistent recently as well with that. And I've seen some things come to fruition, and it's like a release for me. But anyway, wrote in my journal, and I try to, make sure I was intentional with every job that I applied to. I said a prayer before I clicked submit on that application, especially the ones when I'm like, do I have the experience? A little bit of an imposter syndrome, would creep in. And, shout out to one of my best friends, she was like, all your skills that you have are transferable. It's accents of mine. And me trying to code switch while being mature and and stuff. That's funny. But anyway, nevertheless, she was like, all these skills that you have over the years, they're going to be transferable. And she was right. Anyway, long story short, because I'm trying to keep this first episode short. But long story short, I got called for an interview. And let me tell you, the first round that I did, I just knew I was going to go to a second one. I was my true self. I wasn't trying to, say things that weren't necessarily true, because let's not act like, we know how sometimes we add things to our resume or, make ourselves seem more important or have more skills than we usually do. And I was honest, and I was my true self in that interview, and I felt really, really good. And then I got the call a few days later saying that, I had the second round. That went really well. And then I think, guys, might have been the end of the week or the following week, I got the call saying that I got the job. And my sister have that on camera because they just record everything. I don't know why they're on vloggers, but they do record everything. And, that moment of that sigh of relief. And then I was like, I didn't even think about, oh my goodness, I had to move this way. Thankfully, it was a nearby state. So my commute at the time to and from was about 3.5 hours to and from. Guys, I know you're probably thinking, who's driving 3.5 hours? Well, I like to drive most times because it's especially on long drives, because I can get my thoughts out. I can think. I can just be one with myself. Sometimes I end up getting lost. I don't even know how did I get to this exit, these different things. I'm sure you can relate, guys. And then, of course, I'm like, you know what? Gas is expensive. It's getting high. I can't keep doing this commute no matter how much of a long drive I like. I can't keep doing this commute. So I made the decision to finally move to my new state. And I'm literally living 7 minutes, probably 5, depending on how I drive some days, but 7 minutes really and truly in the GPS from my job. So, that's like a blessing for me. So in me sharing where I've been and what I've been up to, I want you guys to know that, let's say, doesn't matter what country or what state you're living in, if you feel like there's a better opportunity for you elsewhere, definitely take it. Of course, be sure to weigh the pros and the cons before you decide to up and move. I didn't have any responsibilities per se. I don't have any children yet, anything. I wasn't tied to the state that I was living in. I was hoping to stay there and, build a house and whatnot. But you know what? Life happens, and I'm all about, being my best self. So definitely, if the job that you're at is not working out and you're up or open-minded to moving somewhere else, do that. I have a friend, she moved from a whole country. She moved from our country of Antigua, and she's living in a whole different country now, working at a job that she absolutely loves and still thriving. So, it is possible. Let's not try to confine or tie ourselves down to one particular state or country for the sake of fear or thinking that we're not going to thrive, because that, I'm telling you, we are. And for the first time in my life, or my first time in my working life, that is, I can truly say that I love and enjoy my job. I kid you not. Like, the first time or the last time I felt this way about a job, I was working in the PQ, working with sick kids. And even though I loved it, I was working full-time. I was going to school full-time, and I was working night shifts. So it was a bit tiring. But this is the first time, guys, like, I can actually see I'm making an impact in this community as a public health professional. I actually love my job. This is not me saying that my job is not stressful at times, because, that's just life. It has its stressful moments, but I do love it. I have not complained one time to get up and say, oh my God, I don't want to go to work today. I actually look forward to getting up to go to work, truth be told. So definitely, like I said, if it's a situation where you are looking for a change and you're thinking, boy, how can I move from a next state or even to a next city that's further from what I'm used to, take that leap, guys. You know what? And I'll probably share in the podcast, another episode, tips to follow as it relates to, or things to consider rather, when you're trying to move to a different state, because these were different things that I had to one, act quick, but also consider a lot of things. So I'll definitely share that on another episode. But yeah, but that's where I've been, guys. I'm going to keep this episode short because we have some really amazing episodes upcoming on this podcast, guys. I can't wait for you guys to hear them. It was just a little life update from where I've been, and I promise you guys, I'm elevating this podcast. There will be no unexpected breaks. God forbid something may happen. You guys will be notified about that, but I am definitely going to be consistent, and you guys are going to get your weekly episodes going forward. Okay, so definitely, plans going forward, I definitely want to have, I'm going to continue rather, not just have, but continue to have candid conversations about health and wellness, because, as a public health professional, health and wellness, that's just who I am. I'm on this self-help or this wellness journey. I'm trying to eat better. I am eating better. I'm creating space for myself, making sure that I'm actually practicing self-care and self-love. So we're definitely going to talk about all that, because I'm trying to tap into my higher self so I can truly be the best version of myself. Definitely living my best life. So when I say I'm living my best life, that means making sure that I'm good financially, mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. That's my idea of living my best life. So that's what we're going to talk about going forward. We're going to, like I say, we're going to talk about founder's life as a nonprofit founder. We're going to talk about health and wellness. That includes reproductive health, maternal health, all these different things. So definitely, I'm looking forward to that. And as I come to the end of this episode, I'm going to end this episode now because I know I'm blabbing on, talking fast, probably because I'm so excited. But you guys, what, you'll get used to me and my fast speaking. Just definitely want to thank you guys again for always tuning in, always supporting. And if you love this episode, or you love where I say we're going to be going, we're going to be having candid conversations about health and wellness. And definitely, as my motto is, to promote positive living as I take you on this journey to me becoming the best version of myself. And of course, you guys listening, for all of us to be on this journey to the better version of ourselves. If you like this episode, like where I'm going to go, and already even like where the podcast has been going in the past, like I said, guys, we're leveling up, like Sierra, level up. We're leveling up. Definitely be sure to like or follow, and definitely rate and review, because that's going to help me out here in this podcasting street. And it also helps people to find us on this platform, on this podcast platform. So definitely, again, want to thank you guys for tuning in. And of course, episodes are back weekly. Of course, some will have some guests on, amazing guests, and we'll have, of course, my solo episodes as I take you on this journey and as you come along on this journey with me. Be sure to click the link in my description to sign up for the newsletter, guys. There will be bi-weekly newsletters coming straight to your inbox, and we're going to be talking about some self-care and wellness tips. Definitely sharing some of the good things that I'm doing to, again, raise my vibration and just become the best version of myself. So definitely make sure you click that link, subscribe to my community, to our community rather, not just mine, our community, as we continue to build and make each other better. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in to the Tea with Tanya podcast.